Well, I've just received this in the post today and didn't expect it so quickly, to be honest. This should be a Steinhart Ocean One bronze with a green bezel. So I think it's called the Steinhart Ocean One Bronze Green. So let's get stuck in. I'm actually kind of excited. I only ordered this 3 days ago and it's had to go internationally. So from the company I bought it from, so normally it gets stuck in customs, but this came straight through. So let's just get stuck in really quick, get an unboxing out the way, and give you a first impressions review. I also have a couple of other watches I'd like to not necessarily compare it with directly, but just touch on, because this is a bronze. Just for argument's sake, I also have a brass here. I happen to have been wearing it today, so it's perfect as an example. And I pulled out my watch box, a watch I would never dream of wearing in public or wearing. I bought this as an experiment to do with the colors. This is not actually a bronze. It's a stainless steel with a PVD kind of a fake bronze coloring to it. So there's pros and cons. This is actually a really cheap watch from AliExpress, $100 watch. Actually, not too bad movement, the Miyota 8. So we can compare this with the brass and hopefully with the bronze that I have in here. And just in case you're not aware, brass and bronze are actually very similar. They're basically similar alloys. So they have very similar properties. They will both age and pick up a patina. There's a great review I found the other day of somebody who just used a boiled egg to induce a really nice patina in about 2 hours. So a nice household item. I'm going to link to that in the comments. So just getting this open while we're chatting here. Another advantage of doing an unboxing review, to encourage you folks to do them, is if you don't get what you expect in the box, you have proof. I'm not anticipating any issues, however. I bought this from Noman Watches, which is a really good company. It's actually cheaper than at Steinhart. If you're in Europe, you want to buy from Steinhart, so you don't have the tax issues. And oh, very nice, unexpected gift. Immediately, I'm happy. This watch, the Steinhart watch, already does come with a pretty nice strap, but it's not for a dive watch, it's not a NATO strap like a G10 or something suitable for diving. So they've sent me a fairly basic looking but nice, the color should go very well, a very nicely matched NATO, which I'm happy about because I was going to have to go buy one of those. I do have a green NATO, but it's 20 millimeters and the lug width is 22. Anyway, you didn't want to know about that, but it's nice. Buy from Noman, you get a free strap, free worldwide shipping, and it was under $500 compared to the retail price you'd get from Steinhart. So now we're into the box, advising to wind it, about how to wind it. 22nd of March 2018. That's very nice. That's only a day or two ago, so it got stamped. 180-day extended warranty, though, from Noman Watches. So that's their warranty, not the warranty from Steinhart. So perhaps Noman Watches are a grey importer, which means you don't get the manufacturer's warranty, which means you're only going to get a 180-day warranty. But this is a Swiss-made ETA movement, Elabore grade, in fact. So I don't think I have any issues. 180 days is perfect. Oh, very nice. Inside we have probably a PU leather box. Could be the real deal, but I'm not a leather expert, but I'm feeling it's PU, I suspect. How does this work with a kind of a catch here? Yeah, it's just a hole that's kind of roughly cut out. And foam padding. Yeah, given that it's this kind of cheap foam padding inside, it's nice looking. It's robust and strong, but plasticky. Yeah, it's kind of a plastic insert on the inside. So this is undoubtedly PU leather, but it's a nice looking box. However, as with all my boxes, it goes in the drawer. So you've got the watch itself, which is what we're all wanting to see here, and the cushion is stiffly fitting to the left and the right. That's the stiffest cushion I've had. So actually, it's not a bad cushion as cushions go. It's very softly padded, but on the left and the right, it's hard cardboard, but it's soft where it needs to be. Again, that's not leather. Smell it; it's got the plastic smell, so or rubber smell. So it's basically a not a leather box, but it's fairly decent. Looks fairly decent. The only thing I would be a bit embarrassed about giving this as a gift is that you just got a hole, roughly cut out hole here. So they didn't really spend any money on the box. I would argue a cardboard box probably do a better job. Might look a bit nicer. So here's the watch. Interesting to compare. This one here, which is my brass, is beginning to get a little bit browner, but I've only had this a few weeks as well. So color-wise, we can compare the two. Let's get the plastic off and get into it. And this is the strap that comes with it. When I saw the strap online, I thought, wow, that looks a little stiff. Yes, I mean, it's kind of a cordura or corduroy type material on the outside, but it's probably got some padding on the inside, and we'll see. So let's get this label off, or this open, I should say. Here we go. It's a little bit stiff on that fixed keeper. Well, first impression of the buckle is it's solid buckle. It's signed, as I remember seeing from the reviews. The strap itself is fairly well made. 22M. Just wondering if there's any other brand on there apart from Steinhart's. No. Yeah, I mean, it's like any strap. It looks like it's been deliberately roughed up down the middle here. That's probably a design feature to make it look not so new. Perhaps, people like to have a kind of a worn strap look these days. I actually don't like that. I would have liked to have just seen it without that kind of deliberate rubbing all the way along the strap. But that's just me. You might love it. Wow, this is nice. So I'm really liking I love this green. This is why I went for the watch. It's also very clear, easy to read with a dark dial. When I go for the light dials, I have an issue with that. And on the back, let's get this off and take a look at the back engraving. There we go. So, one back engraving. So it's a Grecian, looks like kind of warrior with a trident riding a chariot being pulled by a seahorse. So, and it says Ocean One Bronze in a modern font. Bring this closer so I can read it. Sorry if it's going to blur on the camera. Swiss made by Steinhart. Full bronze case. Sapphire crystal. ETA 2824-2. Doesn't say Elabore grade, but I know it is from the specs. Nice and heavy. Definitely it's a solid bronze, and you noticed it's a solid bronze bezel. However, this insert on the bezel, I know as a fact, is aluminium. But don't let that put you off because it doesn't run to the edge. So it's actually a glued-in insert, and if they have replacement inserts available on Noman's site, not Noman's, sorry, on Steinhart's site. And what you can do, they have 3 color bronze watches. They have this green one. Some people, I think, kind of call it Kermit after the Kermit after a better known brand, where you have a green one that's called the Kermit, and but they have a green one. They have a light brown, kind of, I guess, like this, not quite burgundy, and or maybe more like this, and a dark brown, which is almost black, which looks pretty stunning. So you can buy all 3 bezels. The issue is, and the bezels are cheap; they're like €15 each. The issue is to replace a bezel insert. Sorry, you're not buying the bezels. You'd have to kind of cut off or break open this pip at the 0 hour position, and then kind of wedge in a sharp tool underneath to pull it off because it's glued down. However, if you've got the tools to take off a dull flat knife wrapped in a plastic bag, sometimes does the trick. You can actually get these bezels off and then maybe soak it to remove the glue, but it's still a throwaway, right? So I've written to Steinhart, and hopefully they'll reply in the next day or so. I'll put this in the comments if that's the case, or in the description. And I've asked to say, can I actually buy a replacement bezel, not the bezel insert? So if they send me a new bezel, and I'm happy to pay for that, I'm going to spend another 15 euros, get a different color, and then I can swap over the colors and just change out the strap, change over the color of the bezel, and pretty much I've got two watches for the price of one. So that's my plan, as it may be, and we'll see how that works out. So they do have an engraving, the Steinhart logo. It's not too deeply engraved, but it's not a shallow one either. So on the top of the crown there, the crown seems nice and easy to grip. Let's play with the tags. Keep banging around. You know what? I'm just going to cut this tag. I don't even need to cut it. So if you're going to buy one second hand, it says tags attached. That doesn't really help because it looks like you can just undo the tag. So some other tags you have to cut so you know the watch has been worn. I also don't like this glue around the stitching at the back, if you can see that. So I wouldn't say it's the best of straps. Color-wise, it kind of goes with a kind of a shabby look to it that's deliberate. Anyhow, so let's get into playing with the bezel first. It's stiff because it's new, but not too stiff. So it's half-minute turns. I can set it very precisely. There's absolutely no play. It's an extremely well-done bezel. One of the best, actually. You need to grip fairly well. It's a nice coin-edge grip. I have no trouble gripping. It's kind of awkward to turn where the crown is, but hey, what's new? It doesn't really overhang on the edge of the watch, but it's high enough to grip. But it's definitely a little bit too stiff for my taste. Perhaps that tends to loosen up after a while. Better too stiff than too loose. And the reason for that is it's a little uncomfortable to turn it. I'm not like cutting my fingers, but you can kind of see a mark. I'm not feeling it sharp or anything, but it doesn't feel comfortable to turn. If I was out there in the cold with chilblains or something, that would be rather painful. Anyhow, so there we are. We're at the correct position. So I'm okay. I actually like the bezel. It has no play with it, which is good. It's going to be robust. I can tell it's very precise to set an exact time wherever the minute hand may be to within half a minute. So it's your typical unidirectional 120 click bezel. Let's get this thing wound up. Sorry, I'm going to unscrew the crown. So typical 5 turns. Just going to give it 4, 5, 6, go up to about 20 turns. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, one thing I have noticed that is different, turns very smoothly. I can feel the spring the whole way, but it's got this noise that it's not the winding it. It's I've never kind of had a noise before like that, which is a very noticeable noise. I'll be quiet, see if you can hear that. I'll bring this up to the camera. So anyhow, so it turns okay. So there's no date on this particular model, but I suspect being the standard ETA, the first position is going to not do anything. That's just for setting the date. So pop that out. It won't pop out so easily with just a finger. Oh boy. Have I turning this upside down just to pop this out? Pushing it in. One position. Second position. It does hack, of course. So the hands are moving fine. In fact, might as well set the right time. It's about 4:20. Well, if I was really setting the timer as opposed to just giving this demo, I tend to, I don't know how, hacking hands are really nice. I like to be accurate. I usually stop the minute hand, the second hand up at the top at 12 o'clock. And then I can set it to the exact minute when it on an atomic clock. Yes, I'm a little bit anal about that, but that way I can be fairly accurate because I have meetings that start to the minute sometimes with clients. So that's almost about 19 minutes. Let's see. That's good enough. You don't want me to hold you up doing that. So it screws in nicely. So it was a little stiff to pull out, but this is a totally new watch. That isn't the first time I've had that, where it kind of gets more comfortable after a while. And in fact, you'll see with accuracy, once you've been running a watch for a while, that, things tend to, I don't know what to say, maybe it's like a new car, things tend to settle down a bit, and you get better mileage if you're careful with it for the beginning. So I'll certainly be testing the accuracy on this, but let's run a few quick tests while we're here. And we'll just do a basic, shouldn't be any surprises on this, but height-wise, including the top of the crown, top of the domed sapphire crystal here, is 14.5. So this is very nice. I had some 16 or so that are they start to get a bit noticeable. 14.5 for a diver with a bezel is pretty decent. I already know that it's 22 millimeter lug width, but how much play do we have? Is it because sometimes they're just under 22? That's 22 on the nose, I think, right at the very end. 22.9, so it's actually 23 millimeters. Did I get that right? Yeah, some of them are like 21.9 or something. Yeah, it's 21.2. Yeah, I'm going to have to take this off to measure this properly. But anyway, it's a 22 millimeter lug width. Didn't do a great job measuring that. I have 7.5 inch wrists, so we'll test that. Might as well do a quick sapphire glass test. I'm sure we have sapphire glass here because it's Steinhart, one of the most reputable micro brands there are. I have to let this warm up for a few seconds. Meanwhile that's warming up, I'm going to get this other one off my wrist. Try that. Got to throw in a wrist shot here, and I'll throw in a loom shot as we're talking about it at the end, and we can compare this a little bit. Do a quick weight test. Ooh, big difference. The Steinhart is noticeably chunkier in terms of weight. Let's try it the other way around. Yeah, they're fairly close, but I say this. I'm not going to measure it on a scale. The Steinhart's definitely a more heavier build, even though it's similar material. Okay, so the way this works, just get this adjusted for the temperature. Let's try this on a watch that I already know is sapphire crystal. So it should light up a certain number of bars. 4. Yeah, so that goes up to 4 bars on that one. So let's try that on this one. Ooh, okay. 4 bars. Yep. So it's pretty much identical. It's not the ideal test. So the way that this works, if you get nothing light up, let's get one that's not sapphire crystal out the watch box really quick. I might as well show you. Oh, here we go. So this one is a Seiko 5, so it's definitely not sapphire crystal. So it doesn't light up at all, right? It just stays on the one basic light, or if I wind that down a bit more, just so that light goes off. There we go. So here we go. So nothing happens. It just basically doesn't do a thing. And that's your typical mineral glass. And then this one is going to light up. I've turned it down, so it's lighting up a couple of bars. So it lights up a little bit. I mean, if this was diamond, not fake, well, not fake, not artificial sapphire, but a real diamond, then you'd be lighting up a lot more. But the point is, I know it's good enough, for my testing purposes, that it's going to light up 2 or 3 or 4 bars that I can compare it with another one that I got that's sapphire crystal. So definitely sapphire crystal. So let's see. Let's get this on the wrist and see how long the strap is. I'm doing this behind the camera just to save some time. Oh, this is nice. or maybe it's not nice. So before I even push this back, the very last hole, the tightest hole, I'm only one away from that, and I have exactly medium-sized wrists at 7.5 inches. That's 19 centimeters. So this is great for somebody wanting to wear the watch like me with an average-sized wrist. I wouldn't normally wear it tight, but I just wanted to see what it kind of looks like at that, because once the keeper pushes in, it's nice and loose. I could, so the issue I think you're going to have if you've got a small wrist below the average of about 7.5 inches. Like if you had a 7-inch wrist, you could probably just about wear this, but already it's like gone around to the wrong side of my wrist. So I actually think if you're under 7.5 inches, this default strap is not a good choice. It's probably not quite a long strap. It's a medium strap. Or conversely, if you have a much thicker wrist, there's not much left in the be on the other side of the keepers here. So there's not much room in this strap at all, despite these extra holes. So it's interesting. They do sell this strap on the Steinhart site, though I would recommend getting a third-party strap. There's plenty of other choices out there that will go really well. I'll also put up some pictures of some that I've been looking at as a potential replacement for this. Or I can get that off and just throw on... this NATO matches fairly reasonably. You don't actually need to go green just because the bezel is green. This is going to brown up, don't forget. It's not going to be necessarily shiny. So, gosh, you could even get a color that goes with the bronze, or maybe a kind of a light beige, a lighter color that's in the brown family. In fact, a very soft suede. I'm actually thinking about getting one of those. And I have a couple of other green straps as well that I might put on and do some pictures with. But anyhow, so first impression, it is actually comfortable. I was thinking it wouldn't be, and I said so before I put it on, so I'll take that back. It's comfy. But it's definitely an issue. You can buy a shorter length strap. This is obviously a medium, and you can probably buy a longer length strap. I didn't look that far on the site, but Steinhart sell these straps at 3 different lengths. But this strap here at this specific length, they also sell the buckles too, so you can get a buckle for a different strap of your own. So, but I just tend to change the buckle with the strap and keep whatever strap I like the most on. And I usually wear watches that color complement my clothes. So this is really a working shirt here that's brown, which is why I was wearing a brown diver. Yeah, so I'm thinking... If I go the very tightest one there, it's kind of hard to put on because of the bend in the buckle. Gosh. It's funny when you try and do it in front of the camera, right? That's the wrong hole. One more attempt here, and then I'll call it a day. Yeah, that's the tightest hole. Okay. So I'm actually using it on the... Normally I'm using a middle hole, so either the holes are in the wrong place, or... there's not much choice in the way of holes. So you've got all these holes here, all the way down to here. You can't even use that hole with a keeper. If that's where the buckle is, the keeper will just be flying loose. So I think these holes are in the wrong place for the strap. So that's an interesting review item. That the strap that it comes on is comfy, looks good, but is not the right strap for... in terms of having the holes. If you've got my size wrist, it works. Any other size... I don't think it will work. You've got a smaller wrist, you need to buy, because you won't have any holes further along here, either punch your own holes, or, which is never advisable on a multi-layer strap, or buy a smaller strap. And if you've got a longer wrist, my friend Davor from the same group that I'm in, yeah, this is just way too loose. I'm not even going to I can't even use this strap. Too tight or too loose a little bit. Very hard to put on. Oh, what a pity. So let's get a bit more of a comparison done. So it's a 42 millimeter. I've already mentioned the movement. It's an excellent value for a Swiss made, which it does say at the bottom. So it's a really nice looking watch. Really happy with the watch. Don't like the glue on the back here. That really shouldn't be there around the stitching. Don't like the kind of wear in the middle, but I think that was done deliberately, just same as people age furniture, because I can see that along the whole length here. I'm already seeing marks from where I've put it on. So it's going to be one of those straps that's going to end up looking deliberately rough. It's a nice strap, but I just doesn't work for most people. So it's a real pity. So I haven't seen that in anyone else's review, so it's definitely worth sharing. But anyway, let's just get the color comparison done. So this is, things age over time. This is a couple of weeks going, and this is bronze on top, so it's slightly shinier. I haven't deliberately aged either, and I probably need to clean the bottom one. But really, not much of a difference, right? So I actually think this is a good conversation point, because if you want to get a bronze, one thing you need to be aware of, that some people have slight skin allergies to bronze, so that's unusual. But if you do have the bronze touch your skin, that's why underneath it's stainless steel on both of these the screw downs cases here. If your bronze does tend to touch your skin, particularly if you're going to be doing stuff around water or whatever, you sometimes end up with green marks on your skin. It's a little unpleasant, but for some reason that doesn't tend to happen with brass. Slightly different makeup in terms of the alloys used, maybe. So I would actually go for a brass. They both get a very nice patina as they age, and I've seen some tests, and I think you can actually deliberately control the patina if you want, and you can also easily rub off the patina as well and polish it out if you want to. So they both have the same properties. These are both marine grade bronze, marine grade brass. They both start pretty much the same color, so definitely consider one of those if you were looking to get a watch that gets a nice patina. And I would say go with the brass, because you're going to have less issues with your skin, but it depends more upon what watch you like. Now the other one I wanted to show you is this one. This is a fake, so the color is never going to change. It's like you get gold plated or like rose gold, and it's not real gold, it's just metals that kind of mimic the color. So this is what somebody's thinking, this is a cheap one, of course, what it would look like when it gets a patina, but it never looks like this, because it looks like a duller color, and you'd see marks and lines and a patina to it. It never looks like this. So this looks like a bronze gone wrong, to be honest. I'd rather have, if you're going to fake it, make it look like this, which is a somewhat yellow gold kind of a feel to it. Don't bother buying a watch with a fake bronze on it. The other thing I'm going to talk about is buckle. So this one, this is awful. Look, it came on this exact strap. Look at this. It's the wrong color buckle for this. How are you going to match this exact fake bronze? It's not fairly standard like you get with yellow gold or rose gold, or stainless steel is ideal, because it doesn't. If this scratches, you'll see the stainless steel underneath. If these scratch, you could polish out the scratch just like on a stainless steel. So get the real thing. Don't get a fake one. You're going to find it hard to match if you want to get a buckle. And then we haven't even talked about Nato straps. Nato straps have their own hardware, so it's harder to find bronze, but you can find them. Are you going to find one that matches this brown? No, so it looks like you've got the wrong hardware. So you get something like this, you're basically screwed, in my opinion. So don't cut the corners. If you want to get a bronze watch, don't get a bronze colored one. Get the real thing. You can treat it so that it doesn't get a patina if you don't want it, or you can polish that off really easily from time to time. So get the real deal. It'll last longer. You won't have to deal with scratches, and the hardware will not be an issue. That's pretty much it. I don't really want to go into too much detail. I really enjoyed unboxing this, and I will put up some photos, maybe edit the video when I've got a couple more straps that I like for it. Hope you enjoyed this too. Thanks.